Hello YouTubers, welcome to another video here. I don't know if you hear it, probably not, but outdoors I already hear the sound of fireworks. This is the last video of 2017, or at least when I'm recording this. I hope I'll be able to get it uploaded before it's 2018. Well, in some cases, well, that depends on where you are on this planet, because when I record this, there's 6 hours left of 2017, and in parts of the world we already have 2018. Never mind. I thought I'm going to show you some of the last records that I've bought and got hold of in 2017, show you them and talk a bit about them. First, we're going to start with a ABBA theme. I'm going to show you some records with some sort of ABBA connection, although none of them are ABBA albums. But there's a connection. That's why I'm doing them now. Okay, first of all, this is Benny Andersson, Piano. It's a solo album, it's a double album, it's 21 of Benny Andersson's of ABBA fame, of his compositions, where he just plays them on the piano. One funny thing with this album is that it is issued on Deutsche Grammophon Gesellschaft. You recognize this from many classical records. Why is it issued on Deutsche Grammophon? Well, Benny Andersson has his own record label, Mono Music, since over 30 years ago. Well, a couple of recordings from this album were sent to Deutsche Grammophon. They didn't say who composed it, and they didn't say who played it, just to see if they were interested. And they were. So, I think Benny Andersson himself noted that it's probably one of the first times when Deutsche Grammophon Gesellschaft issues a record with pianists who do not know how to read and write music, which is astonishing things. His musicality is enormous. What do we have here? Well, we have a mixed bag of we have 21 tunes. I think just five of them are taken from the ABBA scene, the ABBA repertoire, and then we have songs from Chess, from Christina from Duvemåla, and from music from that he has played together with his orchestra, Benny Andersson Orchestra, Benny Andersson Band, and it's very nicely recorded. And of course, he's a great musician, great pianist, so it sounds nice and it sounds great, and it's a lovely album. And I can understand that Deutsche Grammophon thought, well, this is a very nice, promising pianist. Let's record him, or let's issue his music. It was my mother actually who asked me if I had bought this. And then I said, no, I haven't, but I have actually thought about getting it because I'm a great admirer of Benny Andersson's. He's one of the few Swedish musical geniuses that we have, and I wasn't disappointed. Okay, let's move on. Well, in January the 3rd, 2018, there will be the premiere of a movie based on the life of the Swedish singer-songwriter Ted Gärdestad. And I'm sure it's just a coincidence, but 2 days later his whole record catalog is reissued on vinyl. Yeah, quite a coincidence there. Well, I've decided to order one of those because the last record that he issued in 1994 was not issued on vinyl back then. But then I went to the store to see if I could find some of the Ted Gärdestad albums I didn't have before the reissues are issued, so to speak. And I did. I got this Blue Virgin Isles, recorded in United States mainly, with great musicians like the drummer Jim Keltner and Dr. John on keyboards. And this was probably the first attempt to give Ted Gärdestad an international career, because he was on the same label as ABBA, the Polar Records, and also Björn Ulvaeus and Benny Andersson. They were quite involved in Ted Gärdestad's early career, but it didn't really work out that well, this international career. It's a pity, because he was one of the greatest singers and songwriters back then, although he had quite a tragic life, and 20 years ago he decided to end it on his own hands, so to speak. And I look forward to watch this movie, and I'm quite sure I will cry a bit while seeing it, because that's what you do when you listen to Ted Gärdestad's most beautiful songs. You cry. If you have some sort of heart in your body, then you cry. This is another one from 1981, mixed Swedish and English material. I think he sounds best in Swedish. I'm sorry, but his Swedish lyrics, or actually it's his brother Kenneth Gärdestad who wrote the lyrics, and the Swedish lyrics are, I think they are better than the English ones. His songs sound better in Swedish. This was the last record before his big, break from music industry. Not going to talk about all the things that happened in that break, because many others already have and probably will talk about it. But this is from 1981. It contained one big hit, Låt kärleken slå rot. It's called Stormvarning. Warning for storm, and he had a bit of a storm upcoming there. Yeah, so we have some ABBA connection here too, because I think Anne-Frid Lyngstad is in the background chorus, and I'm quite sure that the members of ABBA, or the same musicians in many cases, are playing on this album. Okay, let's move on. The founder of the Polar Records and was the ABBA manager, Stig Andersson, and he he started as a songwriter, and also he recorded his own songs, and he was quite good songwriter back in the 50s and 60s. And in 1969, an album with songs that he composed in the 50s was issued, and it's called Andersson på Svensktoppen. And I guess this is a very young Stig Andersson. You don't really recognize him without this big mustache. Now, is that better? Yeah, now we recognize him. And the Gustav Vasa haircut. The artists on this album is Britta Borg and Roffe Bengtsson. Britta Borg, one of the great contralto singers, who was probably today mostly known for his for her cooperation with the great entertainment legend Povel Ramel. Roffe Bengtsson also started as he cooperated a bit with Povel Ramel, but he started as a gramophone singer, and I think the first Stig Andersson tune that was recorded and sung by Rolf Bengtsson back in the mid-50s. This is that's Britta Borg, that's Roffe Bengtsson. Roffe Bengtsson was also one of the first Swedish stand-up comedy performers in some sort, and he recorded one of the first Swedish stand-up comedy albums called Har det varit nåt, and that was issued the year after this year, and also on Polar. So Roffe Bengtsson and Stig Andersson were good friends. And some weird and quite funny songs recorded here by, and it's a bit of a rare record, although you would imagine that it would be more known, although some of the songs have appeared on later CDs with odd ABBA connected songs. So there's an ABBA connection here too. There's no material from this album on YouTube so far, or maybe there has been and there has been removed. But the next album is actually represented on YouTube, so you can have a look if you want to. And this is a weird one. I've been looking for this for some years because it's so weird. It's called Nygammalt Kultis, Gnesta-Kalle and his Moogman. Who was Gnesta-Kalle? Well, he was an accordion player and he played Swedish folk music like waltzes and schottis and polkas and stuff like that. And on this album he plays together with many other good Swedish folk musicians like Sonne Bange, Stig Emanuelsson, Sven Larsson, and yeah. They play also compositions by Stickan Andersson. This is also on the Polar label. It's from 1973. This is what Gnesta-Kalle looks like. But we have another. Well, it's called Moogman. That Moog, that's a synthesizer. That has nothing to do with accordion. Well, as little extra tinsel on this recording, we have Benny Andersson that I just showed you later, or that I just showed you earlier, on a Moog synthesizer. And Benny Andersson has in later years mostly been interested in, well, musicals and in folk music, and maybe this was one of the first records where he actually got to play some old folk music, even if it's 50s songs by Stickan Andersson, but it is in the kultis style, in the old folk dance style. And we have Neil Armstrong on the front sleeve. I have no idea why, but so how does it sound? Well, you might get an idea that this could be really weird and probably not too good, because many of these Moog experiments have been quite interesting, some quite good and some horrible. I think this is good, but of course Benny Andersson, he knew what he did, so he knew how to play the Moog synthesizer to fit in well with the accordion music here. So, okay, that's the end of the Polar part. Let's skim through the rest of the records too. Yeah, this is indeed Everest, a Swedish band from Uppsala, indie band, who just issued their second album, the first album in many, many years. I think they've been played together for over 20 years, and this is their second album. It was issued a couple of months ago. I found it on sale, so I bought it, and I like it very much. Great singer in Linda Karlsberg and great compositions, mainly by Rickard Örn, the guitar player of the group. Worth checking out on the Uppsala label Open Mind Records. And Open Mind Records is also the record store that I usually visit whenever I go to Uppsala. I think I've talked about that store before here. Okay. Over to this record that I'm sure you are familiar with. Roy Orbison with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, A Love So Beautiful. Nothing much to say here. It's very well done. They've taken Roy Orbison's voice and they added the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra and also a backup band who plays in a style that sounds great and, well, stylish and, well, done with both with respect and love to the originals. So, I bought it. I thought I was a bit curious on it. I'm a great fan of Roy Orbison, but also I wanted my mother to listen to it because, well, my mother is a great fan of Roy Orbison. Okay, over to a record that I saw as a kid that I have been curious to get hold of lately, but I haven't until now. It's the Finnish genius Emma Numminen with the album Jag har sett fröken Ellen I badet. I've seen Miss Ellen in the bath. And what do we have here? Well, we have Swedish versions of old Schlager from 20s, the 1920s, 30s, and 40s. Lots of German stuff. Also, we have American Patrol, American Patrol, not American Patrol, American Patrol in the Swedish version, and Little Brown Jug in the Swedish version. It's on the Finnish, legendary Finnish record label, Love Records. And I heard this when I was a kid. I stayed with some sort of daycare center that was at the home of somebody, and and I often checked through the records that they had at the place, and they had this. I listened to it and I thought, well, this is really weird. He can't sing really. It sounds horrible. But for some reason, I just wanted to listen to it again and again because I thought it was fun. It's a fun record, and I respect and like Emma Numinen a lot. Okay, 2 more records. One of them, no, I'm going to take that first. Here I might need some help. This is a Singapore album on a label that I think is called something like Mail Line Records. It's from around 1970. It is it is pop music sung in, is it Chinese or what is it? I'm not sure. But it is from Singapore, I know as much. And most of the songs are sung by a female singer, probably her, and 1 or 2 songs were sung by a male singer, probably him. But I have no idea who the artists are, their names. If you recognize them, please tell me, or can you please tell me what it says on the sleeve? What is the name of the record? What's the name of the artists? I listened to it and I liked it, but I think Asian music is interesting and appealing. The only Western element on this record was a version of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and that was, I don't know, quite horrible, sung by some sort of childlike or maybe child singer with a very high-pitched voice. Was the worst track of the album, but it's great, and it's very rare. You never see these here. So, I have certain interest in these rare issues that you never find here and you never see here. I thought it was both appealing and a bit. I got very curious because I get curious on these kinds of records. So I got it and I like it, but who are the artists? Someone out there that can read this? Help, help, help. Okay, thank you. Okay, the last one I might need some help with as well, but okay, I might need to do some sort of censoring here to not get flagged. Let's see if we can do this in a nice way. Some people are so sensitive, but I have a very nice record brush, don't you agree? This is a record on the label Haparanda Records. Discotheque. It's from 1971. It's called Discotheque, and it's by a group called the Bloom Green Group. And nobody knows anything about this record. I mean, we don't know who the group is, and we do not know. It's probably a Swedish group. The record company Haparanda, I think they made the records in Germany, but I think it is still a Swedish label because, well, Haparanda, that's a Swedish town up in the north, close to the Finnish border, and I've only seen Swedish artists on this label. So, and it is a very sought after album actually, from what I've heard, and very, very, very rare. So, and I can understand why it's very well sought after, because it's great. I listened to it a couple of times. It's very nice pop beat but a bit funky, a bit jazzy, soul, in a Swedish way. Nice versions of songs like Mercy Mercy, Spinning Wheel, In and Out, By the Time I Get to Phoenix. So this is of course a budget label on a budget record on a budget label. But the thing is, the Bloom Green Group, who were they? Nobody knows. It's impossible to Google any information about who they were. The only hit about this record that you get is the times they've been sold, maybe on eBay or Sweden. Well, and also the Discogs entry. So, I think we could really do some sort of short needle drops for this record. I think that's quite. So you can hear some short examples on what it sounds like, because I think that's quite fair and quite safe if we talk about copyright, because I recognize. I think I can recognize some of the musicians or the way of playing. Sometimes I think, oh, that almost sounded like bass playing by George Wadenius, and those vocals, oh, they sound so. I recognize them, but I can't put my finger on who they are, and we do not know. The Bloom Green Group, who are they? Well, that's it for this time, and well, I really don't have that much else to do then. Wish you all a happy new year. And have a nice, happy new year. Enjoy yourself. I sure will.
That you're near, promise your love that I've waited to share, and dreams of our moments together color my world with hope. To do the things that we propose, we're trying so hard to make the grade. We know it by making music every day.